They are out, and we are away. Looks like Elite got a bit of a better reaction start than his teammate. Although Jitto's had a fantastic start. Jitto's got all the way past Elite already, and he's got the inside line into turn 1. Can Jitto take the lead immediately? As JD Menz is sending it up the inside as well. Jitto and Westy an excellent start from Menz. As Arbon's dropped down to P6. Tuman's had a bit of a gain as well, as Elite's going to try and get past JD Menz. They go wheel to wheel here through turn 4, giving each other a decent bit of space. No real massive contact between them. Elite squeezing Menz a little bit, but it's all well and good. It looks like Menz got the better drive out the corner though, and takes the position. Excellent start by Menz, but what a start from Jitto from the second row into the lead.
Yeah, sadly for Arbon, he got squeezed out by that Menz Elite wrist battle, and then just lost momentum, and that just made him suffer going around this first sector. So a bit of a shame, but he has got a lot of work to do to get back up to the top field on the mediums.
I can see Loco Gibson's not had the best start as well. He's dropped to last position. Going to have a check. Usually drivers who are near the back potentially have damage. It doesn't look like he's got damage, as I do hope that everyone's gotten through the first lap without damage. Arbon's lost a few places, but yeah, I don't think there's been too many incidents. It's quite a clean first lap actually. As I'm now having a look, SLR Quattro trying to get past Zakis Beast. As Zakis Beast has got a bit better drive there. He's got a bit better straight line speed, and he keeps the position. That battle for 6th place as Jam's made up a couple of places, looking to try and maybe get more, as he's trying to close up to Simba. That was quite a bad run out of the first chicane, and that's potentially going to give Barlow a run. But now Barlow's going to tuck in behind and keep the position.
As we know,
Quattro now, is he going to send it? Yes, he is.
As we do know, Jam Barlow, our teammates, Mercedes for joining late, but yeah, they meant to be nice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That actually they are technically teammates, but obviously you can't choose your car if you join after Q1. But interestingly, at the top, what we have is a really interesting situation. I'm going to check Jitto's ERS here because I'm pretty sure he's going to be using an awful lot of it. Yes, indeed, he's used about 10% more than Sick Westy, as he's trying to break clear here as Jitto. He's 9/10 ahead of the Ferrari driver who was on pole position and showing some excellent pace so far. Oh, there's a yellow flag, and that is Barlow, who has spun in the third sector. And I think he might have potentially affected Loco Gibson with that as well, as Loco's lost a decent bit of time there to the back of Jam. Of course, the only reserve driver in this race is Loco Gibson.
There could be some entanglement going on backfield, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. But anyway, we're now going back to the battle for the lead, and it does look like Sinquesti has got the place. There's a big Van Dorn and Quattro, I think that is. I'm struggling to find them, but yeah, they have both lost it. I don't know whether potentially
it seemed the same
Quattro
corner.
who was in the higher position. Potentially Quattro in the higher position has lost it, and then Van Dorn's lost it trying to get out of his way potentially when he's lost it. That's very interesting, that, but that is Quattro and Van Dorn all the way down, and yeah, a couple of very early spinners. As I can see, Sinquesti really struggling to stay in the DRS of Jitto, who looks to have a bit better pace than Jitto in the first sector, but Jitto's got him in the second and third, and here, this is a very important couple of corners here. Sinquesti really needs to stay with Jitto.
It seems like Jitto's running away with his battery. Also, a little bit less battery usage than Sinquesti, but
yeah, telemetry back up, and yeah, I mean, Jitto's got 10% less battery than Sinquesti, but Sinquesti now has the DRS. So that is crucial for his race. That is absolutely pivotal, because it alleviates the pressure from Jamie Menz and allows him to save his battery behind Jitto. Jitto's used a bit more battery to try and break clear of that DRS, give him a bit more comfortable race, but he has not managed to do so. So, race on at the front between these two. And actually it's Jamie Menz now who's potentially losing the DRS. Of course, his softs were good at the beginning of the race. They allowed him to gain those extra couple of positions. But now Jamie Menz, potentially, if he's not careful, is going to find himself dropping back quite a lot and into the clutches of Elite as Smoke picks up the first penalty of the race.
Well, if you're in a situation here when you're on the sauce and you know good guys on the medium behind you, waste your energy battling them, or do you just let them go and try and stick in the DRS?
Yes, difficult one. I'd say you probably do whatever loses you the least amount of time. At the moment, Menz is staying in the DRS of Sinquesti and of Jitto, so he's looking good in that regard. So as long as he's in the DRS and he's not really majorly under threat, then there's no real reason for him to elect to let Elite go. But I think we will see later on in the stint the mediums becoming a bit better than the softs, and JD Menz eventually losing that DRS. I think it's only a matter of time, really. As you can see, he's got a lot of understeer there. His softs are wearing quite a bit already, and yeah, potentially could be under risk from Elite at some point in the next couple of laps, as Elite looks to, of course, recover from that poor start where he lost a couple of positions. Another driver who's looking to recover is Arbon.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, Zach is another one. I think he showed with the tyre with the sauce as he's got Arbon all over his gearbox, pretty much.
Indeed, yeah. And look at that gap between Zach and Tuman as well. It's not like Zach's driving really slowly because he is still a couple of seconds ahead of Shutt Medal in P8. It's just the front five are showing some excellent pace, and Zach's dropped back quite a bit from them. Of course, he did have that bit of battle with Quattro, and I wonder whether he lost time with Quattro's spin as well. As you can see, Zach gets a lot of understeer there. I think his softs might be starting to overheat here. And yeah, that's going to potentially allow Arbon to make a relatively easy move on the start-finish straight, as Arbon looks to get right back up there and challenge the top five. As here we are. Yeah, here we are. And it looks like they're working together here. Jitto does not fight back at all. Lets Sinquesti go. And that's going to gain the top two valuable time, as Menz has now
and that's it the long way around.
Let Elite go. And now Elite is into P3. So now Elite's going to have to use his battery. He saved a bit more with his battery, of course, as he was in that DRS of Menz, and he's going to try and use that battery, and hopefully good race pace for his sake, to get back up and into the DRS of Jitto. And that's just going to help Menz and Tuman, of course, and it doesn't look like he's back in it. So kind of as you were really with the top five, just with Menz and Elite swapping positions. But at some point Menz is going to lose the DRS to Elite, and that's going to potentially open up Tuman. Tuman's having a very solid but quiet race here in P5. Wily Old Fox of ARL Tuman, very experienced league racer, and yeah, doing very, very well at the moment. He doesn't like the track, but showing some very decent pace, and yeah, looking very, very good at the moment. He's potentially going to have a chance of getting past J-Lee Menz here, as Menz has lost DRS, I believe, to Elite. So I'm going to look at the flaps. Yes, indeed he has. Although he doesn't let stay behind him at the moment, as I see Shutt goes for a penalty.
Yeah, I think penalties is going to be a big factor. I mean, it's wouldn't say it's the easiest to get penalties, but I wouldn't say it's the hardest to get penalties either. Honestly, it's about in the middle.
Yeah, I think we are going to see much more than just those two penalties this race. I can see Menz has a lot of understeer there, and yeah, these are his softs properly dying, and Tuman's potentially going to be a bit annoyed at this, to be honest, because it's meant that he's lost the DRS to that top three. But Elite, I'm really impressed with actually, is just how much he's been able to gain back up to the top two. Of course, he did lose that DRS, but he's managed to gain that back and looks very, very comfortable at the moment.
No, I think it would do
very
it would definitely do Vesti a favour if Elite could get past Jitto. I mean, probably you could say Ferrari be running away from them if they can get past Jitto.
Yes, indeed. So now let's have a look at ARL Tuman, as this is a very critical phase of his race. And is he going to try and get past JD Menz at the moment? No, he's not. Zach's Beast has done a very, very early pit stop.
Yeah, he was struggling when Arbon got past. He went immediately wide in turn 3.
Yeah, his softs are dead, and he's gone for a set of mediums here.
It could be
so
a
is he
two-stop.
going to take those to the end, or is he going to do a two-stop? It'll be a big stretch to the end from lap 7 on the mediums, but Zach's Beast does have quite good tyre wear, so
He could also be praying for a late safety car that could change things.
Yeah, potentially. Of course, it's very easy to lose the car here. We've seen a couple of people crash already in qualifying, but it's much easier to crash, of course, with that higher fuel. So that'd be very, very interesting to see if that does come, because that could definitely shake up this race an awful lot, as Barlow and Quattro are battling it a bit. Quattro, of course, recovering from his spin that he had in the first few laps, as Barlow gets all out of shape through the chicane and picks up the third penalty of this race. So there we are. Then there were 3 penalties. As looking at this, Aero Tuman is an awful lot closer to JD Menz. I think this is going to be the point where Tuman tries his move and moves up ahead of JD Menz into P4. DRS enabled for Aero Tuman as yellow flag. It's Quattro again. Yeah, he's lost
I think the sauce
3 seconds at a couple of places.
I think the sauce is definitely dead now.
Yeah, we see smoke coming into the pits as well. He's on to a set of mediums himself. JD Menz, interestingly, staying out on his soft compound tyres, so he's going as long as he possibly can on them, but it is a mighty stint man from JD Menz, actually. Take them just one more lap, I'd say, and he's really opened himself up for a really nice soft medium strategy, and he's potentially going to be right up there with Elite, Jitto and Sync Westy
Ooh, he's almost had a
in
spin.
the late stage of the race.
Menz.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time. Softs are not looking good for JD Menz. You'll have to look at the gap to leader. He's 5 seconds behind the leaders. So he's going to have to do a mighty stint here on his set of mediums to get back into that fight for the podium.
I think his race will be maybe with the Quattro, Zach's Beast and Smoke. I think we'll be pitting a few laps time, maybe round 13 for the medium.
Yeah, so Menz is staying out here actually, interestingly. He's trying to stretch his softs as long as he possibly can. As I can see, Ham and Jam, I think, are working together. Yep, Jam has let Ham go on the start-finish. It looks like a pretty similar pace, and it looks like can use each other's DRS to get as much race time as they possibly can, although Jam picks up a time penalty there. That is his first penalty of this race, but yeah, the two brothers are P9 and P10 at the moment.
Did look like Ham also picked up a warning. Went a bit deep into turn 2.
Yeah, he went very, very wide, but yeah, that's the first penalty of the race for Jam, but yeah, they're trying, it looks like they are trying to work together and maximise their race time as much as they can, although Loco Gibson actually is closing in on them a decent amount as well. Loco, the reserve driver in the Williams, could potentially get involved in this battle. As I'm having a look at it, it does look like Tuman slowly but surely is dropping away from his top 3, so I think it might be a 3-horse race at the front.
I think this is because they're all on the DRS to each other and Tuman isn't really in any DRS.
Yeah, that's only natural. It's very, very hard to keep up with a DRS train.
He's lost 3 attempts in that one straight.
Yeah, that's painful, really. I mean, you think you're doing a good lap, and then all of a sudden, bam, you just lose half a second of the DRS.
In the pit lane.
Yep, going for a set of mediums to try and take them to the end of the race. Very nice stint from Menz as Jam and Ham once again swap positions into turn 1. Trying to work together, as I said. Yeah, let's see where Menz comes out though.
He crucially just get ahead of us.
Pitted a couple of laps earlier.
It's crucial just get ahead of the Smoke in there, Zach.
So now Menz are going to keep an eye on the gap to leader. His gap is 26 seconds when he came into the pits, and let's see what it goes down to. That'd be very, very interesting. I'll keep an eye on that a few laps time to see whether Menz is bringing the gap down, potentially opening himself up to be in the race with the top 4. As there's a decent bit of field spread here at the moment. Having a look, the top 3 obviously are with each other in the DRS train. Tuman, of course, was following that train quite comfortably, but then, of course, Menz ended up leaving him detached from that train. It's interesting, the Elites lost quite a lot of time to that train, to the top 2 as well. He's nearly dropped out of DRS himself, so I don't know if he's made a mistake there, Elite, but what's the other time? Yeah, then yeah, Tooman's kind of on his own, Arbon's kind of on his own, Simba's kind of on his own, Shutmuddle's on his own, Ham and Jam obviously working together.
Yeah, they just keep switching position each time.
There's a yellow flag set to 3, and that is...
Quattro again.
Is that Quattro? Yep. It's Van Dorn pits.
Seems like
I think that's his first pit stop.
The second time that corner has caught him out. In this race.
He's going to peel off into the pits. Is that Quattro retiring potentially? I hope it's not. No, it is.
It's a shame.
Quattro's had enough.
It is a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame, but yeah, I mean, he's had a few spins and he has had enough, sadly, and
that's now we've got
he's out.
A three-way battle for P8 here.
Indeed we do, as we also have a three-way battle for P1, as I said. Jitto is going to try and overtake Sync Westy here again. Is Sync Westy going to fight the position? No, he is. He is. This isn't an all-penetrated swap. They do want that track position. And they may be considering going in sometime soon for a set of hard compound tyres. And that potentially is going to
yellow flag.
mean that Jitto's going to want to be ahead of them. So that's Quattro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Quattro whose car... Yeah, his car came out. Men's actually has got past Barlow on the start finish straight. But yeah, Jitto taking the position over Sync Westy. And that's very interesting. Sync Westy was fighting that pretty hard. So yeah, I mean, it does look like Jitto wants to be that lead car in the train for now, and potentially he's going to give him decent bit of track position when it comes to them making their pit stops. As Arbon's actually closed up massively to Tooman. Arbon's showing some really strong pace at the moment. And potentially Tooman is going to think about letting him go and trying to catch up to the top 3, although they are 5 seconds clear now. They've got so much better pace as Jitto's at the fastest lap with aid of that DRS, of course. Let's have a look at that gap to Men's, actually. Gap to Men's, 25 seconds, so he has brought that gap down, actually. As Jamie Men's yellow flag is set to 3, that's Smoke. That is LP Smoke. He is spun around and yeah, he's dropped down to P14, and yeah, that's really not ideal for LP Smoke, and yeah, he's going to be another driver hoping for a safety car here at the moment. He's going to peel off into the pits. I know Smoke never likes to retire and give up, but potentially he's going to put on a new set of tyres. And yeah, I hope he stays in this race. I know Smoke does usually try and stay in the race for as long as he possibly can. He's not one for retiring in the pits, and he's pitting, and he is putting on a new set of medium compound tyres. But yeah, I mean, yeah, a bit of a quiet phase of this race, as of course we had that overtake for Jitto for the lead. Actually, Jitto, I thought he was going to potentially break the second, but he actually went really deep into the final corner. Yeah, Jitto just looks like he has pretty good pace.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of battery use left though. One driver that doesn't really take it easy on the battery.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to use that one lap as an opportunity to try and break clear of Sync Westy with that extra battery, but of course that has failed.
But you could come to think that has put him in a very bad situation, because now he's probably going to have a leak whistle over him. He's not careful.
As Gian picks up a second penalty now. So that's a nightmare in terms of penalties for Jam. He's 6 seconds now, and he's going to really be struggling big time when it comes to the end result, even if there's a safety car, of course, with those penalties. As just plodding along now, lap 15 of 33, and yeah, it does look like all of these guys are trying to take the mediums as long as they can.
Do you know the expected pit window for the mediums, or when it should be able to?
Should be open. I'll say probably lap 21 or 22. I'd say probably.
So there's still
That's kind of when
5-6 laps left.
Indeed, indeed. It's going to be that's obviously if you want to put on a set of softs. Of course, there's no one at the moment is going for the hards, which is interesting. As Arbon picks up a penalty behind Tooman, that's potentially going to affect his race as well. That is not ideal at all. He's going to get back to the leader, with Menz as he's brought the gap down another second to the leading drivers. He's going to be ahead of Tooman and Arbon here actually when they come to pit. So that's going to be interesting. But he needs to gain another few seconds if he wants to get ahead of Sync Westing, Jitto and Elite. Although he is going to come up, of course, to Ham, Jam and Loco Gibson. So that's potentially going to slow him up, although we'll have to see whether he does catch up before they make their pit stop. But yeah, looking pretty decent at the moment, Menz, to potentially be in this battle between himself, Tooman and Arbon. Of course, they are going to be on those much faster soft compound tyres, as Tooman pits now, actually. Tooman pits now. I presume this is for a set of hard tyres, actually. We'll have to see.
Be interesting to see how the hards perform with this. He's going.
Yeah, we've not seen anyone on them so far. Yeah, he is going on the hards. He's doing a medium hardest to him, and he feels like he can get some decent pace out of the hard compound tyres. As you can see, yeah, Menz has undercut him, and by a good few seconds actually. Tooman pitted when he was about. Menz pitted when he was about a couple of seconds ahead of Tooman, and Tooman has chosen to go onto the hard compound tyres. So yeah, interesting strategy there from Tooman. He's the first of those medium runners to make a scheduled pit stop, and he's put on the hard compound tyre.
He must have had a lot of tyre wear on the mediums. Possibly, maybe Jeff told him an alternate strategy that would have worked.
Indeed, as Ham and Jam once again swap positions. But yeah, I mean, maybe he was going for that medium soft, but
I think Russell's had a nightmare of a last chicane, and he's now.
Oh god, he's lost DRS. At least lost DRS as Simba now pits, presumably for a set of hards as well. But yeah, potentially Tooman and Simba, maybe they were going to try and do the medium soft as Ham now pits, but they've realised that they could not make it to the pit window for the softs, and they're going to have to go onto a set of hards. Very interesting from those drivers. Tooman's not the only one who's gone onto a set of hards, and
But are the top three in a similar situation? Because Elite Race is now, struggling to keep up with these two after that mistake. I mean,
although in saying that, he has nearly got back into the DRS window of
he has had to use his
Jitto,
battery when the others haven't, but
he does still have a decent bit left though. I'm just going to double check the battery. Yeah, he's not got that much left, so it's not like he's massively struggling. And I think he is going to get back in the DRS, so that is going to allow him to save it once again. Yeah, Elite continuing on
when these guys do pit. And who pits first with the Ferrari drivers as well, because obviously they both will be wanting to pit.
Yeah, they're both on the exact same strategy, so we'll see who's done their homework here in terms of who goes onto what tyre and when. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Tooman, Simba, Shut Metal, Ham are going for the medium hard. And yeah, I'll have a look at Tooman's gap to leader, see how it is. He's not looking too bad on the hards at the moment. I've got to check his lap time. He's done a 19.9. He's lost a couple of seconds to what his PB on the mediums were, but they are going to obviously get quicker come later on in their stint. And Simba looks to have activated his very nicely. Is the yellow flag in sector 3? I think that's smoke. Yes, it is. Smoke is gone.
In the same location. Everyone's struggling with that corner, it seems like.
Yeah, it is a really tricky corner, that. There's an evil curb on the inside that can spin you. If you don't ease off slightly into the corner as well, then that can spin you as well. It's a very difficult corner. A very awkward angle, and yeah, he's fallen victim to it a couple of times this race. As now everyone look, and Smoke is tired as a crash.
Yeah, that's he's crashing the pit entry. That was like.
Yeah, is that going to be a safety car? Maybe. Is that going to be a safety car? That would really make this race interesting.
Oh no,
yellow flag still.
The road. He did crash it, and in the game when we set his car to the middle of the track. Thank God it's.
How's that not a safety car? How's that not a safety car? I have no idea.
Yeah, this game is a bit daft with safety cars. I mean, yeah, you can have a car with right arm in the middle of the track, and then someone breaks the front wing, and it's a safety car.
Yeah. Oh, it's interestingly, yeah, Arbon, he's made his pit stop onto the softs, and he's overcut Tooman. He has overcut Tooman, and he's now going to try and look and get after Jaylene Menz. Very interesting.
Maybe this is Arbon's pit to overtake strategy that Ferrari trying to do. It's not Saudi.
Yeah, maybe, except he's actually pitted this time, unlike Ferrari. A Sync Westy now chooses now is the time to pit. He lost DRS on Jitto, I believe, so as Jitto pumped in the fastest lap of the race on that lap. So Sync Westy has chosen that lap is the lap to pit for him. He's gone on lap 20, and he's presumably going to go for a set of softs. Yes, he is. End of lap 20. They should make the end from here. It should be a fresh set of softs. And has he calculated this right with getting out ahead of Jam?
Yeah, he wants to be coming out ahead of this train. If he's stuck behind someone, I don't think it's going to benefit him.
Yeah, he does have a bit of clean air. He's a bit of clean air, and he has got out ahead of Jam, so that is perfect timing of this stop. He's got clean air, and he's going to try and make that undercut work. And interestingly here, what do you do if you're elite? Now Elite's the most interesting person in this, because I think Jitto probably has to pit to cover off Elite, because if he doesn't pit, then Elite will obviously get ahead of him with that undercut, because it should be quite powerful into fresh softs. But Elite, he knows whatever he does, he's going to come out P3 here. He knows whatever he does, he will be P3 after these pit stops. And does Elite potentially go long here? No, he does mirror Jitto. He does decide to mirror Jitto. That's really interesting, that. Because if I was Elite, I potentially would have tried to take those softs, those mediums another lap or two, and try and get up there with the other two later on in the race on those slightly fresher softs. Sync Westy is now coming around on the corner. He's coming back onto the track, and the undercut hasn't worked. Jitto's got out in the lead still. So he's not made. As a lead. Yeah, he's got a 3-second time penalty. That's not ideal at all. As now Arbon has caught up to Jaylene Menz.
Obviously, Jam is.
This is the battle for P4.
You have to pit, so this is.
Yeah, really interesting phase of the race there. Yeah, as I saw Quattro in the chat said that he'd had enough when he retired. He doesn't like the track, and I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, that'll be me next week. I want to retire, but I'm not going to enjoy Monaco whatsoever. It's a tough track as Monaco. It's another story.
Yeah, very tough track. But yeah, Jaylene Menz now on the back of Jam. This is a really interesting phase of this race, because Jam obviously has not yet pitted, and that is allowing Arbon to get right up behind Menz, but it's also going to give Menz DRS. I do expect Jam should pull into the pits this lap, indeed he does. But that is going to give Menz DRS, so that's going to aid him with the overtake. Always overtake for the lead as well. Sync Westy has got past Jitto. This battle is still raging on between the two of them.
This is going to be about skill between Arbon and Menz. They're both on the same amount of ERS, so it's going to be coming down to driver skill at this point.
Arbon's obviously got a lot fresher tyres, so he should have the more grip to be able to make this move. But every lap he's stuck behind Menz is just going to help Menz, because at some point Arbon's tyres are going to fall off the cliff, and that is going to allow Ginny Menz to get right up there and perhaps get back past him, as the mediums don't drop off as much as the softs.
Yeah, no, Menz's mediums come into play a lot more because he's done 11 laps on him so far.
Indeed, yeah, mediums are wearing. Yeah, they're 11 laps old. But yeah, look at that though. I mean, Arbon can't get past yet. He's going to have to wait until the start finish as Sync Westy sets the fastest lap of the race, aided by that overtake on Jitto. I wonder whether Jitto's going to get him back. I'm going to go on board with that. No, he's not. Thinks about a little look. Does stay behind. And Arbon gets the move done on JD Menz. As Arbon now goes up into P4, and he's going to now try and get clear of JD Menz's DRS and pull as much time as he possibly can while those softs are still good. Because otherwise he's potentially got Menz and then maybe even Simba and Toodman, as their hards aren't going to wear at all themselves, to worry about as well.
Yeah, I think Arbon will look at the time issues now, knows he's like 7.6 behind the guy ahead, and probably just know he's going to have to just get his head down and try and catch his gap, if not set off a fourth. Still. Yeah,
I think the gaps are going to be impossible, to be honest. I think he's not going to pull that gap. He's on older tyres than those top three. It's all about whether he can get the gaps the cars behind.
So that Menz went a bit deep into the hairpin.
Yeah, now entering lap 25. It's 8 laps to go, and still Sync Westy versus Jitto versus Elite at the front. Obviously Elite have got that time penalty to worry about, which is going to be very, very crucial come the end of the race, as obviously that means that Elite, even if he does overtake one of them, will not win this race. But yeah, it is all about Sync Westy versus Jitto. The gap's half a second. Sync Westy's got a little bit better ERS here than Jitto, so that's interesting, as St. Jamb has got past Van Dorn.
Yeah, just checking penalties, warning situations. It's just Sync Westy's only got the one warning, and Jitto had a clean sheet, so it's just.
Yeah, very good driving so far from Jitto, and he's. It's half a second behind Sync Westy. Yes, it's just all about. It's all about now, really. The final couple of laps, really, because Sync Westy is not breaking that DRS. Doesn't look like either of them are going to get any penalties, and it's all about now. Can Jitto make that overtake? Can he get the race victory? Yeah, gap's absolutely nothing now. But at the moment, Sync Westy just about looks like he's got it covered.
I mean,
just about.
All he has to do is just sit in this position and hope these two, well, not hope, but if anything happens with these two, he's in that position to pick up the pieces.
Now, if I was Elite, I'd hope they'd crash with each other, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would do
if I was Elite,
you do want.
Yeah, but at the same time, the one and only result, the one and only priority you care about is your own result. So maybe.
I mean, you could hope they go. Turn 2, you hope maybe Jitto tries to go for a move, but then spins it from the exit or something.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, even if they both hit each other and they spin, they're still going to be safe to Arbon. So it wouldn't really affect his teammate's position. It would just put Elite up into P1. But yeah, Yeah, I'm trying not to tempt fate and hope for a nice clean battle between these two. And to be honest, I think it's going to come in the last couple of laps. Actually, it's going to come now here as Jitto looks on the inside. Sink Westy, does he try and fight it? Yes, he is. He's still keeping his nose in as they've touched there. They touched there, a little bit of contact through turn 3. Sink Westy goes very, very wide, and Jitto gets his elbows out a bit and takes the position up into P1. He's chosen now is the time to go and reclaim the lead. There's still a good 6 laps to go, but yeah, nice move there from Jitto. Sink Westy tried to hold in. It's clear that he wants that track position, but yeah, Jitto takes the lead, and yeah, it does look like it is a good situation at the moment for the Red Bull driver. He's of course going to be wary of the DRS of Sink Westy right back at him, but
I just had to check if Sink Westy got a warning for that. He did, so he's now on 2 warnings.
Yeah, did Jitto get one as well? It looked like Jitto might
Yeah,
have
no, yeah,
he
got one as well. So he's...
Oh, so I mean, Sink Westy really, he's got to continue putting the pressure on Jitto, but at the same time, he's got to make sure he doesn't get.
Yeah, he's hanging by a thread now. Is it? Oh, has he got it?
He has got it. He has got it. That's absolutely crucial, and that gives Jitto the breather room he needs, and that potentially opens up a lead for P2. So that is disaster for Sink Westy, as he has got a time penalty of 3 seconds, and yeah, I mean, even if he passes Jitto now, he will not win this race unless he gaps him by 3 seconds.
And we've seen him before, he got past, but just can't pull the gap still. I think Jitto is very comfortable to win this race.
Yeah, of course, Jitto could very easily get a penalty himself, but
he's still got the 1 warning for now.
Indeed he does, but yeah, he could very easily. As he smokes left the session, of course, after that crash, but yeah, very key moment in this race, I should say, between Jitto and Sink Westy. That penalty,
I think we're going to have another switchback.
It's going to be very key. And, yeah, Jitto, is he going to try and fight this? Is he going to try and fight the position? Does look like he does look like he wants to, but Sink Westy does take the lead.
Yeah, Jitto just leave himself in a compromised position now. 11% ERS. He's going to be suffering down that main straight if he can't regain some of the ERS back.
Indeed, and I'm looking at Elite's got a bit more. He's got a lot more ERS there, so potentially can make the move even if Jitto has that DRS.
Depends on how far down the straight Jitto starts blinking. Elite
it does look like Elite's got very. Oh no! Elite spun. I was going to say it looked like he's got some good pace. It looked like he was potentially going to be
this open
right on the
Arbon.
back of Jitto, but he's touched. Yeah, he's touched the inside curb, and this maybe opens up Arbon. He's going to have very overheated tyres, Elite. Let's check the penalty situation. They're on the same amount of penalties, and if Elite can't get his tyres in check fast, then potentially this could be a podium finish for Arbon. And look at Jaylee Menz and Simba Rocks, 1 behind. They're only 4.5 seconds behind. As look at this, Simba Rocks, he's going to try and make the move with Jaylee Menz into turn 1. Menz goes defensive. Simba takes the racing line. Menz breaks a little bit later than it. Simba holding it in there. They're going wheel to wheel here for P5. And Jaylee Menz retakes the position. But this fighting is going to slow them. It's going to slow them down compared to Elite and Arbon, because those two have penalties, obviously. And if they work together, Elite and Arbon's tyres could end up falling off the cliff, and they could end up going up there. But we don't care about that, because this is an excellent battle. Wheel to wheel, Simba Rocks is still trying to hold in there, but Jamie Menz makes an excellent move and retakes that position. He's fighting Yeah, they're fighting tooth and nail here for this P5. It may not be a podium spot, but it is a very strong point scoring position, and they are fighting as hard as they possibly can for it.
It's definitely a disaster for Elite Race.
Yeah, is Arbon going to potentially have a shot at getting past him? He's got the DRS, but he does have older tyres, as Jitto now reclaims that P1 position over Sync Westy.
Just want the inside line.
Yeah, he gets the inside line over Jamie Menz and quite comfortably takes position. He got the move done before the braking zone that time. Now Loco Gibson's getting past Shut Medal. And is he going to potentially try and get past Zach's Beast here whilst he's at it? Zach's Beast on 22 lap old mediums. They are not going to be pretty. Loco Gibson, his mediums, his softs are still looking pretty good. And he's looking good for a couple of points here. Oh, as Sync Westy goes down the inside of Jitto there. Jitto thinks about making the move back in the final sector, but first time in this pairing we've seen a move in that middle sector. They usually wait to the start finish straight, but Sync Westy saw the opportunity and made the move. As now Jitto gets back into the DRS, gets back into the wheel tracks. Sync Westy goes defensive. Jitto, can he brake later? Can he hold it around the outside? Sync Westy tries to keep his car in there. Oh, they make a little bit of contact! And yeah, that looked like Sync Westy slightly understeered into him, but yeah, luckily he's not been affected by that. But yeah, a little bit of contact there between the top two. Thankfully, Sync Westy has not spun from that, as Arbon and Elite are very close to each other. Here, Arbon's tyres are not going to be great, but he is still clinging on to that DRS. And if you get the opportunity into the final lap, this could be a podium finish from Arbon after a neat spin. Kind of been in no man's land for this entire race, and
yeah, Sync Westy's got to be careful there. You can also be storm one away from picking up another penalty.
Yeah, as Jitto now has broken clear of the second after Sync Westy's little wobble. So it does look good here for Jitto. Got 1.3 seconds. He's now flexing his muscles. He's got 1 lap newer soft, so that is going to allow him a lot of speed in those final couple of laps. As they are entering the final lap now. Key battle here is the battle for the podium. Elite X Risk gap is 7.5 tenths between him and Arbon, and it does look like Arbon is not going to be close enough for that podium. Elite's light is flashing, but then I'm sure so is Arbon's. Yes, it is. So it shows neither of them have any ERS to play with at all. And it does look like Elite has just a little bit too much pace for Arbon.
Arbon is on to that older tyres and Elite Race.
Yeah, that's very, very key.
And of course we did have traffic of men, so maybe that might have given some more tyre wear than he would have.
And here we are, Sync Westy does get that final penalty. He does get that second penalty.
So I think that definitely secures Jitto's win.
Yeah, he's going to win by a good 8 seconds here, actually, in the end of it, after penalties. As Elite, I can see he's going defensive there into that hairpin, and it does look like just about Elite's going to hold on. Going to stay on board with Arbon here, as he might get a shot into the final chicane, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think that is the last overtaking opportunity done. Jitto has now crossed the line and taken the victory. He's not got any penalties. He stayed composed. He stayed consistent. He stayed fast, and he takes his first victory of the season. An excellent drive from Jitto. Sync Westy gets P2 8 seconds behind, although 8 seconds behind does not tell a reflection of that race. It was very, very close between him and Jitto for that entire race, and Jitto at the end just about managed to have that bit more composure at the end of the race and got that victory. Elite picks up his first podium of the season with Arbon in P4. Simple Rocks 1. An excellent recovery to P4. Q5. I believe he got knocked out in Q2 actually. We have a look at the gap as we have a look at the detail. We have a look at positions gained. I'm sure it will show us, but yeah, great driver there from Jitto to take the victory.
Albon had a great run out of that last chicane, but unfortunately there was not enough laps left.
Yeah, one more lap and Albon might have been able to get a run on him, but it is Jitto with the victory. Yeah, Simbarot's won from 12th to 5th, a brilliant drive. Yeah, it is Jitto, followed by Sink Westy, followed by Elite X Risks, followed by Albon. Simba, Menz, Tooman, Loco Gibson, Van Dorn and Zach's Beast are your points finishers, with then Jam, Shut, Medal, Ham and Barlow. Your other finishers with Smoke and Quattro retiring.
Indeed.
So let's just get Jitto and Sink Westy and Elite X Risks into the party. Don't know if I sound bunged up or anything, but do have a bit of a blocked up nose, so I'm just gonna try and sort that before we do the interviews. We're doing good. Yeah, can you tick your boxes, please, guys? And we'll do the interviews. Yeah, I'll just invite Jitto again. The race winner. Hopefully, Jitto has a mic. I don't know whether he does or not. As Men's has commented in the chat saying men's driver of the day. Just as Men says, men's driver of the day just for finishing. But yeah, that was a good drive. But yeah, we've got two of the podium finishes in. I don't know if we're going to get the third of Jitto, but we'll start the interviews now. How do you want to do the interviews?
It's up to you. I mean, I can take third and you take second. If Jitto joins, then you can have first as well, I guess.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright then. So yeah, we'll go on to P3, which is going to be Elite Risks. You had a pretty comfortable race. I mean, you were sitting in the DRS of Jitto and Westy for pretty much the majority of the race until pretty much 7 or 8 laps remaining, and you had that little bit of a spin on that slippery corner. Yeah, let's have your perspective on your race. I mean, you look like you had a comfortable race as well. So
yeah, it wasn't an uneventful race. I mean, I was just P3 for pretty much the entire race, other than the first few laps when I was behind JLE Men's. But yeah, I mean, I managed to stick in the DRS of Jitto and Westy, and yeah, I was annoyed when I got the penalty. So I mean, there wasn't really any point making the move when I didn't have a penalty, so I just stayed behind them. And yeah, that was the only time I touched the curb in the race, and it made me spin. And yeah, that put me under pressure from Albon. But I managed to keep P3.
Another follow-up question is, of course, it's not been the ideal start to the season for you, but you finally now had a decent race, showing some great pace, and have managed to convert that into a podium. So how do you feel now to put those first few races behind you, of course, especially what happened in Bahrain for yourself, and actually get on the podium and convert it into a good result?
Yeah, well, my best position before this race was P8, and that was at Bahrain, even after my issue. But yeah, I mean, I'm annoyed with third. I mean, it could have been a win on another day, but yeah, happy to at least get some good points on the board, and hope I can carry this into the next few races.
Excellent drive by yourself anyway.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent pace for all of your top three. And now Sink Westy, that is P2 for you in the end. Look to be a very sweaty battle between you, Elite, and Jitto for the majority of that race, and in the end, Jitto did just about pip you. I mean, the gap was 8 seconds at the end after penalties, obviously, but it was certainly a lot closer than that throughout that entire race. You're pretty much with each other for the entire race. Are you a little bit disappointed with P2, or are you happy to convert your second pole position in a row to a podium finish?
Well, bit annoying because I felt I could have won the race, but towards the end the gap just grew and grew, and after the penalty started coming in, I just decided I'd nurse the tyres because me and Elite decided that I'd take lap 20, he'd take lap 21 for the soft pit, so I knew I was going to be on the older tyres. So once the penalty started coming in, but if I was still in the lead, I felt I could have held it, but he made a good move, Jitto, and he got me, so fair play. But happy with the P2.
Yeah, and talk to us about that, about your qualifying pace as well, because that's 2 races now, and that's 2 pole positions in 2 quite different tracks. Obviously, Portugal much more about the traction zones, and Spain is much more about how much speed you carry through the corners and the chicanes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Talk to us about that, and how do you feel for next week at Monaco?
Monaco's not one of my stronger tracks, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, the setup today was just pure straight line speed. I could tell I had more than the other 2 straight line speed wise. That was mainly for qualifying, as I felt I was a lot stronger. But it's Spain, isn't it? So it's all about DRS trains, and you need that pole position, which is unlucky I couldn't convert into a win. But again, fastest lap and P2, I'm more than happy with that. First points on the board for the season, and the Ferrari boys are coming.
Yes, indeed. It does look like going from qualifying and the way the race shaped out as well, that it is potentially going to be a battle between Ferrari and Red Bull for the constructors as well. I mean, that's much like real life, actually, so I guess you must be enjoying that as well, the fight between the Ferraris and the Red Bulls.
Good fun.
Yes. But yeah, that is all we got time for. It doesn't look like Jitto will be joining us. I've invited him a couple of times, but yeah, thank you all for watching, and that is now Jitto in the championship lead. So hope you enjoyed the race. Very exciting one, I think, between the top 3 at least. It was a very close race between them. And yeah, that's all we got time for today. Hopefully you can join us for Monaco next week. That's always an interesting race. Not sure many people are going to be enjoying that one too much. It's quite a horrible track on this game, to be honest. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And yeah, good night.